holding brief for him.
Yeah.
I think his reason is genuine.
Okay.
But for me, I will encourage more of them to go to the people one-on-one.
And not debate.
Not debate.
Okay.
Not debate. We are
Okay.
tired of English.
Okay.
Then the PDP candidates.
No, I'll come back to the PDP candidates.
The two major.
No, we'll come back to the PDP candidate. We'll take it one after the other. Prof, you'll be itching to say something
Yes,
on the reasons advanced by the ruling party.
Just to say that in Plateau State, it was even reported that Buhari couldn't address those who gathered because the podium, I think, collapsed. There were problems before they even arrived there, and that he was spirited out of that venue. And so he left there earlier than enough. So if he wanted to appear at that platform, the debate, he would have. He had opportunity and all that. But for me, your guess is as good as mine. He was in Kogi, he collapsed. He was in Kaduna, he collapsed into the chair.
Prof, we don't have evidence.
No, I saw it. It's written about. It's not my statement.
I know. We don't have evidence to, because the party has come out to deny all of this. Yes, the party came out to deny all of this. So we cannot hold on strong to that point.
What would the party say?
Yes.
What else do you expect Nigerian parties to say? I've said before that Nigerians are fixated. That is why I'm crying for the country. But we are finding it very difficult to move away from bad to good, because we are more party people than allowing cognitive reasoning to judge our move and whatever we decide. It is very, very clear there now. And so you are aware that this man, he doesn't have the strength. Of course, somebody who is our president, not is it very well and all that. Even some persons even reported that the doctors are already warning that he should return back to the UK, and that it's been managed to finish this process of campaign before returning back here. We read that too somewhere. And so in fact, some have written that if this man were their father, what they would have said, would have advised him, to return back to Daura and all that. But my own is, that is not the genuine reason. We saw him before Kadaria in one of the interactive sessions with the vice president. How many of the questions that were put across to him did he answer himself? To the extent, out of frustration, that the young woman that was interviewing had to say, allow him to answer for himself. Or talking to Oshibajo, allow the president to answer for himself. The question is directed at the president, because most time he parried the question, and then Oshibajo was there to go keep the questions. That is what we observe most of the time. And so, what were you going to expect from such an open this thing where he is going to be alone? That is number one. Number two, I didn't know whether you observed that it was difficult, really difficult for him to hear what the young lady was saying. Each time he must always ask, you said, and all that. And so very clear that our president very likely to be having hearing challenges
okay.
And all of that.
Okay.
And so now globally, before world leaders in discussions and all that, what plays out for us as a country? Why is it that we're in a country where people like us are, where you are, where seasoned human beings are, where Moghalu is, and all that, then this is the man we are presenting as our best, or we are choosing as our best?
Let's not make it sound like we're deriding him, because he has right to seek for re-election, just like you have right. You can't deny him that, Prof.
Yes, now.
Yes, you can't deny him that.
Yes, he
what
has
you say
right.
is this the man we are presenting? I mean,
yes,
he has a right.
Yes, but he has right. Why won't he have the right? Do I have the equal rights?
You do.
No, I won't. Because you are saying that everywhere. I use the word fixated. That word is, in fact, both in inverted commas and otherwise. That is what I mean, because we know the summation of factors leading to this election, what they are. First of all, now, God bills before you to make this election credible. you refuse to sign them. We have seen recently what is happening to the Chief Justice of the Federation. Of course, anything about election has to do with laws. And then you want to cripple that arm, because the second arm of governance, which is legislature, has also been crippled. You now also want to cripple this. And then people complain. This woman you are appointing to collate our election results is related to you. Remove her. Any man with goodwill will immediately act. If you are going to face people on an equal platform, you will remove just to listen to the people and all that. And then people have also been complaining. Why must it be that appointments must also come from around you and all that? And so, when people are now talking, and to the extent of a former president of this country, already casting aspersions and then already suspecting that our elections were not going to be free, then you should give it to him.
Okay, we'll come to that point. We'll come to that point, Prof. Let's look at the other side. I mean, the PDP candidate also did not participate, but we saw from reports online, offline, that he was actually at the venue, but eventually left when he didn't see the candidate of the APC, and his excuse was that if the candidate of the APC, that is, the president, is not there, he doesn't have any reason to be there. Was that a good enough reason, Christian?
Well, it's not. For me, that is a very bad reason. Maybe it was that's for him summoning the courage to even be there. He would have just concluded the courage by presenting himself. That would have left the APC to be alone. And probably, I think, why he left, he was intimidated by those young candidates. Maybe he saw the tension in them, they will massacre him. Maybe that was why he decided to check it out. It's unfortunate. I cannot explain or understand why he came and left.
But he gave a reason.
That's what I'm saying. According to him,
yes,
he came to debate with Buhari. Now Buhari was not there, he has to go. But the letter given to him didn't tell him that it was between him and Buhari. The letter given to him was that 5 candidates have been chosen by Bond to participate in this year debate. And he accepted the letter. Now that he came and he checking out, I just conclude that he was intimidated by these candidates who were really ready to slaughter those 2 big political party candidates.
To debate, not slaughter. I mean, there wasn't anything like slaughter.
When the moderator asked them to talk about, to make their comment on the absence of those 2 big, you hear their comment. It was, so that is why I use that language.
Okay.
And I want to appeal to my brother here. He's a professor. He's a leader of ASU. You know, when we are electing people, we must be direct and sure of what we are talking about.
No, I mean, he has the right to express himself.
Yes.
The way he wants to express himself. The same way you have the right to express yourself. Yes. Listen. That's the point. Prof. Let me take charge here. That's what I'm saying. He knows the rules. Yeah, he knows the rules.
Yes.
So let's stick with those rules.
Because when I think the rally in Lokoja was shown live, and I watched it for social media and some lenient and educated Nigerians to say the man fell or collapsed. I feel sorry, like he said, for Nigerians. But I am the kind of person that has always been hopeful of this great country, that we find ourselves where we are today. If you observe over time, I try as much as possible not to talk about the issue of ASU challenge, because I have do a study. There is no government, there is no administration that ASU have not embarked on strike. So it's difficult for me to just oppose this administration, why they did not strike under this administration, why they strike under this administration.
Okay, but now, let's not derail on the focus of our discussion.
No, I was happy when he said one of the candidates talk what you're going to do for us.
For education.
Yes, coming to my point.
That is
for
how
education.
many of them, the UNESCO standard for budget budget allocation is 26%.
Sir,
and then the country has remained between 4 to 7. And you said that we should not.
I am in the same page with you, because to some extent I'm a de facto benefactor of the educational sector. I would have been more happy than him if one of the candidates said he's going to take social work to the next level.
Okay.
You know, everybody must be proud of his.
You need to be educated before you can do social work.
It's so
yes,
my friend, you need to be educated.
No, I understand.
All right, gentlemen, let's not go off track.
The issue is this.
Yeah.
In politics,
let's not go off track.
Yes, in politics,
yes,
it is give and take. Give what you have to get what
now
you
back
want.
to where we started from. The PDP presidential candidate, the reasons advanced for not being at the debate, are they justifiable in your opinion?
That's why I said it's not justifiable at all.
Okay,
the reason I have said is that, for me, if he has not appeared there,
at all,
no big deal.
All right,
that he went there,
yes.
should have just
let me get your
come on
thoughts.
stage.
On this is canvassed or advanced for not being.
My students will describe the action of the PDP presidential candidate Atiku as a fuck up. That's the way the
we don't allow such a language on air.
No, what I'm saying, I said that's the way.
Withdraw that.
I withdraw it.
Yeah, withdraw it. Yeah,
but that is the word. If you ask students, that's what they would have used. The issue is that for something that made you to rush out of America to come to Nigeria and even come to the venue, you say because an opponent was not at the venue. It's the war now between you and Buhari alone. I thought it would have been an opportunity for you now to espouse what you want to do to Nigerians. You are talking to Nigerians and not Buhari. You are not anyway, although the contest is between those presidential candidates. But of course you want to win the hearts of Nigeria. It is an enough opportunity for you to have come on air to even have, say what you have said. That I wouldn't have been here, but for the love of this country, the citizenry of this country. Because I expected our XYZ to be here. You understand?
Yeah.
So the reason he had given is not matured enough of a presidential candidate. I'm not pleased at all with him. It is not Buhari. The issue is not Buhari. The issue about the leadership of this country. And then you would have come to tell us how exactly. But the problem is that APC, PDP have made this country. Now they bought this country. That is what we have seen here. The two political parties think that this country belongs to them. And that is why I would have wished that Nigerians will rise up this time and say, no, we have a different idea. We need different persons to lead us or rule over us. That is what I have seen here. It was a very big mistake on his part. And I don't know whether he has advisors. Advisors would have, okay, please, Oga, what you need to do, go on air and showcase what you have, tell Nigerians this is what you want to do and all that. You see, those people even had the opportunity, because I don't think those who debated wanted to scare them or tear them apart, because they gave them an opportunity to even talk about the parties that were absent. That would have elicited anger. And it did. From the description, about two of them gave to those the two presidential candidates. Okay. That is just it.
Okay. If you just join us, it's still TMI Monday. Now we'll go to the MCR now and give you a full insight into some of the comments, some of the promises, some of the pledges made by the candidates who were there at the presidential debates. And then we'll be back to conclude this discussion on the 2019 presidential election debate in retrospect. Join us again.
The debate, Kingsley Moghalu of the Young People's Party YPP, Fela Durotoye of the Alliance of New Nigeria ANN, and Obi Ezekwesili of the Allied Congress Party of Nigeria (ACPN) expressed worry at the rate of unemployment in the country, which has brought the Nigerian economy to its knees. Kingsley Moghalu, Fela Durotoye, and Obi Ezekwesili were unanimous that the Nigerian economy needs redirection, as some of the present-day policies are either not feasible or are not implemented, thereby further impoverishing the people, while some elected public office holders rid themselves with the common patrimony of the people.
The problem that we need to solve is that we don't have an economic philosophy. We will have to decide whether we're a capitalist country or a socialist country, and if we are, what type of capitalism we are practicing. So, my approach to the Nigerian economy is, first of all, to focus on reforming the educational system, ensure that our young people have the skills that can make them competitive in the 21st century, and the skills that can give them jobs or help them to set up their own jobs.
The three most important sectors that we need to focus on will be the sectors that help us not only to grow jobs, but to have great social impact in terms of growing our nation. So the three most important sectors are agriculture, housing construction, and road construction. If we fix agriculture, which currently, as we know today, 60% of Nigeria's labor force is currently employed in the agricultural sector. And yet, only 35% of our arable land is being used. We will drive aggressively land use for agriculture to 50%. And that will create for us an opportunity to be able to get under 30 million people altogether into the labor force.
When you look at the Nigerians who are poor, it is very clear that they are poor because they earn below 700 naira a day and live on it. What therefore needs to happen is that this majority of Nigerians, over 50% of them, would need to improve their productivity. When people have higher productivity, they earn more. When they earn more, they lift themselves out of poverty.
Other issues discussed by the participants include education, insecurity, health, and the absence of President Muhammadu Buhari of the APC and Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party (AP) at the debate.
First thing we're going to do is that we will bring to the problem the political will to address it once and for all. The second thing we're going to do is to tackle corruption in the military. The recent report of the International Security Studies Association has told us very clearly that one of the reasons and one of the factors that is driving the insurgency is corruption in the Nigerian military. And this has led to Boko Haram technically degrading our military instead of the other way around. We will bring to the problem intelligence. Intelligence. How do we do that? We will go to the people and try to win their hearts and minds and ask them to collaborate with the government, the military, the security agencies. Give us intelligence. We will work with neighboring countries to improve the cross-border intelligence sharing, because it is the failure of that is driving Boko Haram.
First and foremost, we must ensure that the institutions, the security agencies, are strengthened. And to strengthen those institutions, they must be properly led. Which means that you have to make sure, and we will ensure, that the leadership of the police and the civil defense corps, the leadership of the army, the navy, and all of the armed forces are based not on nepotism, not on friend or man no man, as we say sometimes in Nigeria. It will be based on performance, and the brightest and the best will be selected amongst the people and promoted to lead the rest, so that they can provide for them role model leadership.
We would set up instantly a SWAT team made up of the best quality brains that we can find, because we must rapidly respond to what currently exists. We want that SWAT team to make it clear that our territory will not be a conducive environment to live in and attack our country and people.
Questions by viewers from across the country were attended to by the presidential candidates. The presidential debate, which featured the vice presidential candidates of selected political parties, earlier held over 2 weeks ago. Thomas Sado reporting.
Personally, I was just enamored by the sheer brilliance, intelligence, and the depth of knowledge, and of course the deliveries, the presentations by those three presidential candidates. Fortunately and unfortunately, there is no way we could benchmark these presentations with those that were supposed to have come from the ruling party and of course the major opposition party, the PDP presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Gentlemen, is back to you. Yeah, I'm sure even though you had some perceptions about the performances of those three candidates, just listening to them speak, what can you draw from their inspiration? Let me start with you, Christian.
Yes, it gave me hope that Nigeria will be great. You know, their time will come. Certainly their time will come.
Certainly not now.
Not now.
This is not their time.
No, this is not their time. They should continue to propound the theory, and probably they will have opportunity to put the theory into use.
Okay.
But I'm not comfortable with the professor there who Boko Haram Nigeria military.
No, that's what he said.
He said, I listened to him, he said that the Boko Haram had degraded the Nigerian military instead of the other way around, instead of the military degrading Boko Haram. And that was not Nigerian. Because if you are not proud of what you have, everybody will.
But did you listen to the rider?
Is it
listen to the rider to that statement?
I
I'm not holding forth for him.
But
Did you
I
listen to the
said,
rider?
I must be honest.
Yeah.
I said it's not the truth, because let me tell you, most times, personally, I have visited part of the, even in I've been in Adamawa not too long ago, and we don't even need to go to where those Boko Haram heads were before. We just visit Edo State Market today. You see those food stuff. You remember there was a time you buy just 2 seeds of tomatoes, 500 naira, 1,000 naira. But today you go to the market. That means people have go back to farming in that part of the country. And when you go there, people that have run away from the farmland are going back. So that is to tell you that it is not as it used to be.
Okay.
You understand? And we should give it, no matter how we hate this country, we should give it to the Nigeria military. That is why I said I was not comfortable with that postulation.
Okay.
And like I said, they are bright, intelligent.
They should wait for their time.
They should wait for their time.
All right, Prof, let me get your thoughts. New thoughts, I believe, came to you listening to those guys.
First of all, is that your ability to reason is timed. The human body, the physiological makeup of a man, it peaks and also begins to come down. It's like a kind of parabola. You grow up as high, you get to a point when your deliveries are at peak. Those who knows, those who have studied, those who are educated, use all of these during interviews and when they engage people. And that is why you will find that a man that is about 60 in France, when you are about 60, 62, you are retired from work. Even in our environment here, it's the same thing. What they are simply saying is that when you cross that age, you are no more at your optimum. So why do we now wait to wait till our people have come before now allowing to come to at that point? You're going to find that is you not talk about is those who are that are doing the delivery. You are not the man, but the mass. That is here. When did Buhari come first to this country? When was he here first? Remember the age? Because now the man is in, he's gone now. He must as a country even put regulations. Me, the decisions I take in the past is not, I'm not as daring as I used to be. at a particular age when I was growing up. Because now, so many factors are now weighing me down. In this country, you need to be daring. You need to take decisions. You need to be energetic. Able to follow up with the responsibilities. If me, at my own young office, for instance, I find it difficult to carry on with all that are before me, then you can imagine the president of a country. Is that what a grandfather can carry? No. So we should, sue for younger persons to rule over this country. That is the basic truth. That is no experience. Experience is not. There's no direct relationship between age and experience. That is the only truth. So when in other countries are trading, how many years was? How many years was the? And so when people now complain about Trump, what years is he? No, these facts before us. You see Morali there, you see him. You monitor him. In the next 10 years, he might not be as energetic as he is now. This is supposed to be the time. The same thing for Fela Durotoye. Our madam is about this. Just to say, when she came as the minister of education, he was being superintended over by somebody else. You must do the policies, go according to the government of the day. That is one major fact. I can remember, for instance, that our buildings that were brought down in GRA was earlier mentioned to her, and she refused. So, what are we talking about? So these are the basic facts. You need energy. Okay. You need age. You need education. Because when we talk about grammar also, I disagree. Wars are won on the table. What we are seeing here, the problem in Nigeria is the implementation. You need to plan. You heard Mogalu talking about ideology. That is what it is. Nigeria does not know the kind of ideological stance that we have. We are basically more neoliberal now. What we are saying is, in a country, are you purely capitalist? If you are purely capitalist, apply the principles of capitalism. Or if you are to the left, then apply the principles of those to the left, socialist. Then, if you are the center, you are welfarist, know what things to do. That is what we are talking about. Currently, Nigeria is a mixed meal. We don't even know which one we are doing.
All right, thank you. It's the TMI. Just before we call it a wrap on our discussion segment, former President Olusegun Obasanjo obviously will continually be in the news in the build-up to the 2019 election, maybe after the 2019 elections as well, particularly against the background of the stand that he has taken. Recently, some new issues have emerged on his plank, and criticizing the government of the day, particularly alleging plans or plots to undermine, circumvent the 2019 elections. Now, President Olusegun Obasanjo, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, is at it again. Is it to be taken seriously?
Before then, sir, I want to say that my brother said, these people are young. This is now. Those people. Christian,
just transfer, of course.
I want to comment on that.
If we're going to be having, he said this. It's not even a debate. If you're going to have, it's not a debate. It's not a debate. It's a discussion.
Yes, this discussion.
Stay on course. Stay on course.
Stay
on course. Stay on course. If you want to go on that, we'll just have a few minutes to round up. Just go ahead. Okay. Stay on course. Stay on course.
Okay, no problem about that. The issue is this. Like OBJ, I cannot remember the civilian president he has not written letter to. So some I agree with the school of thought that said it's bad belly letter, because he was the first that wrote a letter to Shagari, and after the letter, a few months later, the Shagari was overthrown. He brought Yaradua, and he wrote letter. He brought Jonathan, and he wrote letter. Even in fact, in one of the letters, I think letter he wrote to Jonathan. Second, there was another one he talked about how Jonathan was training snipers. You see, at the end of the day, if Jonathan really has snipers, some people believed him, but some of us never believe anything he says right from inception. So there's where I will start serious now, because that does not know is the only people. Remove from those elections, they are worthless. So he talked about plan to ring election. If he said he presided over this nation second time for 8 years, and immediately handed over. So the person he brought and campaigned for, and he won election, Yar'Adua. In this, when Yar'Adua was sworn, his first statement was that the election that brought me on board was fraud. So that means the man that presided over those elections himself is fraud. So he will come to equity, come with clean hands. He has no moral justification to begin to talk about ringing in an election, because those of us that have been following the trend of Nigeria politics know that remove ringing, election will be deleted. So he is the so he won't be.
Let's the issues.
That what Obasanjo has said, even if Obasanjo is a demon, but that what he has said is not correct, may not go too well or go down well at so many other quarters. Because I say that the factor or the 2019 might be some problems. If how to work when people going on everything to convert. Then somebody came out carry at the college that young and this, what are you doing now? That is what we're saying. Everybody go up. How many of them come? To come 5,000, and you are talking about vote buying. What is the meaning of that? What does that mean? Hey, number two, sir, you're going to the market without money, going through legislation and all that.
They need it.
You are not going. Yes, they need it. That's what I'm saying. Very correct.
Let's encourage
Isn't it time? Is it time?
There's no time. There is no time that is always good.
Correct. We know where you are.
No,
so the issue is
no, you must know where I am.
Please,
where I am on the side of those that need it.
Okay, I won't talk again.
Mr. Allow him to let Prof land. Just land. I call the point.
So what I'm saying is, I've talked. I'm mentioning points. I mentioned now the number 2 citizen of this country now going to the market to now go and be distributing money. That it is not too different from vote buying. That is the honest truth.
But there's no election now.
Yes. Election is a few days away from now. And now it is now you are. An owl cried yesterday, a child died this morning. And you are still looking for who killed the child. So let me tell you, the issue are, the things that these people, I said the summation of factors or things that have been done towards this election is not too well.
Okay. Our time is up, gentlemen. If we have more time, probably would love to talk more. I want to say big thanks to Professor Julius Iyasere, the ASU Chairman, University of Benin. Many thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Comrade Christian Oserali is. Many thanks again for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much.
Well, the choice is yours, really, on which side of the divide to go in voting. But you must have your PVC. That's the card that you have to make a decision as far as the 2019 election is concerned. The news is just around the corner. In about 4 minutes, we'll bring you the news. And after the news, I'll be back to call it a wrap on the program TMI Monday. Don't go away.
Of a Guanicoba federal constituency. Election time don't come again. Oh, everywhere you go now, Honorable EJ the Rain. Think of saying the better things where you don't bring come with constituency. China, this one be the correct representation where we want. It don't distribute moto, keke napep, okada, sewing machines and grinding machines to our people. It don't provide training for we youth. Give money to our traders, take boost their